Hey guys, what's up, what's happening? You got the King Games 98 here. This is going to be, the topic for today's video is going to be a very sad and depressing one, so I'm just giving you full warning ahead of that. I don't intend for this to be a very long video, and I also don't intend it to be a super short video. It's going to be somewhere in between. So, on Friday, September 19th of 2025, Billy Chaser of the Game Chasers fame passed away at the age of 44 years old to a brain tumor. It's so crazy to think about that Billy was only 44 years old. Like that's so crazy. Now, I am not a doctor. You, the viewers who may be watching this, may also not be doctors either, and I don't claim to play one on TV. So, what is a brain tumor? A brain tumor is a cancerous or non-cancerous mass or growth of abnormal cells in the brain. That is what he died from. And it's still really hard to believe and crazy to think about. It just really, really is. I never sadly got to meet Billy, Jay, Chris, or any of the crew of the Game Chasers at a convention or just in life. In person, I just never got to meet any of them. But from watching their videos for, I want to say, 5 to 6 years now, I could get a really good sense for the type of people Billy, Jay, Chris, Melvor, Dodongo. I could get really, really good idea off of all of them what kind of people they were in real life. Because some people on YouTube are very fake. Just because they show you how they are or act in a video doesn't mean that that's how they are and act in real life. And that's a shame that I even have to say that. But it's the honest to God truth. For me, for example, how I am and how I act in my YouTube videos, that is 100% me, how I am in person, in real life. I don't bullshit you guys. I don't freaking put on a facade or an act. That is how I am. So if you ever met me before in real life, that is just how I am, and that is how I act, and that is the type of person I am. But yeah, there was just something about how they always acted in all their videos that you could just tell the kind of people that they really truly were. I don't remember exactly when I started watching Game Chaser episodes. I want to say it was either 2019 or 2020. It was at the height of the pandemic. I remember that. And one day I just went on YouTube and one of their videos popped up in my feed, I guess from the algorithm. And I don't know if it was their latest video or if it was an older video or what. But it looked interesting. So I clicked on it and watched it. I laughed my ass off. I absolutely was laughing hysterically between the freaking, calling Jay and Billy and Chris calling each other chodes, to then, Jay going, games, 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 and then to them just making fart jokes while in public and in the car ride to flea markets, that was just hysterical. And for those of you who may be watching this, some of you may be going, oh, wow, you have a real childlike sense of humor. And you know what? Sure, maybe I do. But you know what? Just because I'm an adult doesn't mean that I am not allowed to have a sense of humor. And it also doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to act, like a child sometimes or be childish sometimes. As long as it's used in the right reasons, that is. So that stood out to me so freaking much after I finished watching that video that I laughed so hysterically hard, and I genuinely enjoyed watching their game chasing episodes that I subbed to them immediately. And from that point on, I became a fan of theirs. And I would mainly watch their Game Chaser episodes and the Toy Chaser episodes only because they bought and collected what I also buy and collect: video games and vintage and modern toys. So that appealed to me, and they got a subscriber out of me because of it. Now, I lost a family friend 6 or 7 years ago. I lost a family friend to glioblastoma. And again, if you're not a doctor watching this, you're probably going, whoa, that's a really big word. What is that? I'm going to tell you guys. Glioblastoma is a malignant tumor affecting the brain or spine, and it is a form of brain cancer. Unfortunately, my friend Mark lost his battle to glioblastoma. But because he was a family friend, he grew up with my dad, and was my CCD teacher, he lives on in my mind and memory and in my heart. I will never forget him. Now again, I never met Billy, but discovering his YouTube channel and how him, Jay, Chris, all the other guys in the crew, how they made the show and acted in the show, I'm never going to forget it here, and I'm never going to forget it here. Now, I spoke to some friends about Billy Chaser's passing, and my friend Ryan made a really, really good point to me, and it stood out to me. So in this video, I want to mention it because it was so fitting, and it didn't occur to me at the time how true and right he really was. So my friend Ryan said to me, he goes, well, just because Billy's dead and he's no longer going to be on the Game Chasers show doesn't mean that his memory and legacy won't live on. And he continued and was like, there are plenty of episodes and content of old Game Chasers and Toy Chasers videos that he was in and a part of that people can still go back and watch freely anytime they want to on their YouTube channel. And he made such a good point with that comment that I had to mention it here. I just absolutely had to mention it here. It was so fitting, and it was very impactful. He made a great point. So just because Billy the Chaser is dead and he will no longer be in the show, that is if they continue it, I don't know. I haven't heard anything from any of the others in the crew yet. It doesn't mean that his legacy won't live on, because he will live on in the old Game Chaser and Toy Chaser episodes that are on their channel. And that to me is huge, and it is going to be significant, and he is going to live on years and years and years from now, both in our minds and in our hearts, whenever we watch a Game Chaser or Toy Chaser episode on YouTube. Now, I believe Billy was married, and I believe Billy also had kids. And my heart goes out to his family. I don't know how old his kids are. I'm assuming they're probably still little. My heart absolutely goes out to his family, because them kids not to have a dad now is going to be so hard, and it's going to be very hard for them growing up without a dad. It really, really is. And I'm going to pray for them, and I'm going to send them a lot of love and support, because that's what they're going to need.